Hi, I'm Steve at Boston Children's Museum, and happy Pride Month. This week, for Tell Me a Story, we're joined by educator Josia Gertz DeChiara, and they're going to read the book When Aidan Became a Brother by Kyle Lukoff. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi everybody, my name is Josia Gertz DeChiara, and I am going to read a story today. This book is called When Aidan Became a Brother, and it was written by Kyle Lukoff and illustrated by Keilani Juanita. When Aidan Became a Brother. When Aidan was born, everyone thought he was a girl. His parents gave him a pretty name. His room looked like a girl's room, and he wore clothes that other girls liked wearing. In this picture, I see a child, probably Aidan, in a pink dress, sitting at a table with a lot of things around him. Looks like he might be in his bedroom. And there's two adults there also. Someone who looks like maybe his dad and his mom. And he's got a lot of really cool toys in his bedroom. But as Aidan got bigger, he hated the sound of his name. He felt like his room belonged to someone else, and he always ripped or stained his clothes accidentally on purpose. Everyone thought he was just a different kind of girl. Some girls had rooms full of science experiments and bug collections. Lots of girls didn't wear dresses. Let's see. In these pictures, we see a child, probably Aidan again, wearing a dress and stomping in a huge mud puddle. And then there's some children looking at bug collections. Have you ever made a bug collection or a collection of something else? And there's a picture of Aidan again, looking pretty sad in a ripped dress, and those same friends walking away. But Aidan didn't feel like any kind of girl. He was really another kind of boy. It was hard to tell his parents what he knew about himself, but it was even harder not to. It took everyone some time to adjust, and they learned a lot from other families with transgender children like him. Looks like Aidan is looking in a mirror, and he looks really, really happy in this picture. I see some scissors and some cut off braids around him. I wonder if he just cut his hair off. And then in this picture, I see Aidan being held by his parents, and then their family sitting on a blanket in a park surrounded by some other families. Do you ever go to a park and spend time with other families? Aidan explored different ways of being a boy. He tried out lots of names until one stuck. They changed his bedroom into a place where he belonged. He also took much better care of his new clothes. In this picture, I see Aidan standing in his new bedroom wearing a cape of many different beautiful colors and surrounded by a lot of different things than were in his bedroom a few pages ago. He looks pretty happy now. I bet he put a lot of work into making his room a comfortable place for him to be in. What kind of things make your bedroom comfortable for you? Then one day, Mom and Dad had something to tell him. "I'm going to have a baby," Mom announced. "A baby," Aidan said. Does that mean I get to be the big brother? Of course, said Dad, ruffling his hair. Aidan thought that being a big brother was an important job for a boy like him. He wanted to make sure this baby would feel understood right away. In these pictures, I see Aidan being held by his two parents. Looks like they're telling him the big news. Have your parents ever told you that you're going to be an older sibling and have a new baby in your family? Or maybe another kind of important announcement? The baby needed clothes, so Aidan and his mom went shopping. There were so many choices. Would the baby like seahorses or penguins better? Are you having a boy or a girl? Asked a lady. Aidan didn't like it when people asked if he was a boy or a girl, and he hoped that the baby couldn't hear yet. He was glad when his mom just smiled and said, "I'm having a baby." In these pictures, I see Aidan and his mom in the store. His mom is holding up some baby clothes. It looks like they're trying to decide which ones to get. And then on this other side, Aidan's holding onto his mom's body. And he doesn't look very happy. Looks like this lady is asking about the new baby. The baby's room needed to be painted, so Aidan and his dad went to the hardware store. Dad chose a gallon of sky blue paint, and Aidan added a puffy cloud white. "Are you excited for your new brother or sister?" asked the paint guy. "I'm excited to be a big brother," Aidan said. The paint guy looked confused. Aidan could tell that he wanted to ask a different question, and he was glad to have his dad there. You see in this picture, Aidan and his dad traveling to the paint store. Aidan's riding on a skateboard and his dad is walking. And then on this side, Aidan's sitting on the counter, probably at the paint store, with the paint guy and his dad looking at him. The big rollers were fun to paint with. "This room feels just like being outside," Aidan exclaimed. He had always felt trapped in his bedroom before they fixed it, but his new sibling wouldn't have to feel that way. "You're right," said Dad. "Let's make some shapes in the clouds." You see Aidan being held high up in the air by his dad, and Aidan's holding a white fluffy paint roller, surrounded by lots of different shapes of clouds that they just made. Looks like maybe one is a dolphin. There might be a bird. Are there any other animals you see in these clouds? Every baby needs a name. Aidan loved getting to choose his own, but he remembered that it had been hard for his parents to let go of the name they gave him. He looked for names that could fit this new person, no matter who they grew up to be. In these pictures, there's a book of baby names and a lot of paintings and drawings that Aidan has made. This one says forest, willow, sage, sky, moss, leaf, cloud, rain, river. So many different names to choose from. I wonder which one they'll pick. Babies need someone to read to them, so Aidan practiced and practiced and practiced. Dad wanted to teach Aidan how to change diapers. Maybe later, Aidan said. He decided that picking flowers for his mom was more important. Here's some pictures of Aidan reading with a cat sitting on his back, reading in a tent fort maybe he made with some stuffed animals listening, and also the cat, and reading in a bathtub. The cat's hanging out next to the bathtub. Do you like to read? Do you have a favorite spot that you like to read? Or maybe someone to read to you? And then on this side, Aidan is holding a beautiful bundle of flowers. They're all around his face. And there's his cat hanging out with him. Two weeks before the baby's due date, Aidan started to worry. Maybe he should have picked different clothes. The blue walls might be too bright. He wished he could ask the baby which name they liked best. In this picture, Aidan is in bed with the blankets pulled all the way up over his nose, and I see his eyebrows looking really, really worried. Mom came to tuck him in. "Are you feeling okay, sweetie?" she asked. Aidan put his hands over where he thought the baby's ears would be. "Do you think the baby will be happy with everything?" he whispered. "I don't want them to feel like I did when I was little, but what if I get everything wrong? What if I don't know how to be a good big brother?" That's a really scary thing to worry about. In these pictures, I see Aidan and his mom sitting in Aidan's bed, talking really close to each other, surrounded by really cozy looking pillows and blankets. Mom hugged him tight. "When you were born, we didn't know that you were going to be our son. We made some mistakes, but you helped us fix them. And you taught us how important it is to love someone for exactly who they are. This baby is so lucky to have you, and so are we." Aidan and his mom in these pictures are looking right into each other's eyes, and she's holding his face in her hands. Looks like there's a lot of love between Aidan and his mom. The next morning, Aidan found the boxes of his old baby pictures. He looked so different back then. It hadn't been easy, but he liked the boy he was growing into. Maybe everything wouldn't be perfect for this baby. Maybe he would have to fix mistakes he didn't even know he was making. And maybe that was okay. Here's Aidan sitting next to a box of some clothes, some pictures, hanging out with his cat again. And here's one of those pictures in his hand. I see Aidan wearing a pink dress with his mom and dad. He looks younger in that picture, and there's a cake with a 1 on it. I wonder what might be happening in that picture. Aidan knew how to love someone, and that was the most important part of being a big brother. And here's lots of people in a park. There's some balloons that say, "It's a baby." And here's Aidan holding his new baby sibling with his mom and his dad, and maybe some other family members or friends, and someone's taking a picture of them. They all look really happy. The end. Thanks for listening to When Aidan Became a Brother. Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Thank you so much, Josia, for sharing that story with us. And thank you all for joining us for Storytime. We hope to see you next Thursday for Tell Me a Story. Bye-bye.